Hello, hello, hello. It's a brand new day and this is our morning connection. How are you doing this morning? I'm Skip LaCour. I'm so glad you are here today for your daily discipline, your habit, your ritual. Just two men going through the journey of life a little bit older. Got more time behind us than we do in front of us. We got to seize the day, even at 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. We got to seize the day. We got to live with a sense of urgency, attack the day. And that's what I'm here to remind you of. Again, just two men a little bit older going through this journey of life, trying to make the most out of it. We've got our talents and abilities to use. We've got our willpower, focus, energy, and time to allocate to create our legacy, make our impact on this world while we still have this time on this planet. How are you doing today when you come on to this live broadcast? Make sure that you say hello. Tell me what you're loving about these Morning Connection live broadcasts. I want to acknowledge you for being here. Saturday morning, I was thinking about my kids. I do things that they just think are just crazy. So my new thing is like just out of the blue, I'll go. Yes, 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 yes. Woo, 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 woo. Just out of the blue to wake myself up, wake them up, and that's a new thing we do. They just think that is so funny. Movement, just turns everything on this early in the morning. And I'm so glad I am here with you. You're the first person I'm talking to today, which is many times the case on these Morning Connection live broadcasts. Again, I want to acknowledge you for being here. Let's see who we have here this morning. I got a quick message for you. I want to tell you the inspiration for today's message as I come to you. Just whatever I'm thinking about, again, I always have to have something to say, I guess, when I turn on this camera, or what's the point? A lot of times it's what I'm going through. My wife and I are going through as we ask for more in life, right? That balance between wanting more and appreciating life, right? And everything in between. And also the journey that I help men go through with my one-on-one coaching, listening to their stories, their perspective, their hopes, their dreams, their challenges, everything they're aspiring to be, as I help them with objectivity and perspective to step into their full power. That's what I want you to do too, as I continue to try to step into my full power. And then, set aside those limiting beliefs that aren't necessarily true unless we think they're true. Give them a different perspective. That's maybe what's holding them down is only in their imagination or lack of imagination. Just objectivity and perspective, talking every single week. That's it. And by the way, if you're in my 12-week fitness transformation journey, a lot of men have started with their personal one-on-one coaching over the last month or so, and now we're in the middle. We just started our 12 weeks this week. We had our first group coaching call. This weekend, if you're watching this, I'm going to be reaching out to you. This is our first week going through the journey. We started our first conference call on Wednesday of this week. We broke down nutrition, breaking it down and putting it back together. A lot of confusion when it comes to nutrition. It doesn't have to be that way. And I use my over 30 years experience going through journey, helping out men gain perspective, because, that nutrition is such an important part of your level of energy, body fat levels, attractive body, and building that muscle, losing that body fat starts with that nutrition. So we talked about nutrition, breaking it down and putting it back together, right, for older men with busy, productive lives. So this weekend, I'm going to be calling on the phone, texting, calling, maybe doing a little bit of cardio, a little multitask, just to see how you're doing. So if you're one of the driven men who are part of my 12-week fitness transformation journey, I'm going to be connecting with you this weekend. So when you see that text or that call from the 925 area code, you should have me programmed in your phone by now. That's me. And if you heard me talk about it and you kind of tell you, so I see, Google has this map around the world who visits the transformation page. All right, and that's at skiplacour.com/transformation. I say probably thousands of men go there and read that page. Not all thousand fill out the questionnaire. But if you've been going to the page, you heard me talk about your interests, go to skiplecore.com/transformation. Check that out. There's still time because the biggest benefit is the one-on-one coaching with me, 3 hours one-on-one with me. And a lot of guys think, wow, and I take this as a compliment. There's no way I can afford that time with Skip, That isn't necessarily true. I mean, I don't know if that's true. Fill out that questionnaire because what I've done is I've created a more affordable to go on this journey where you go on the 12 weeks of the group coaching calls with all of us. You have access to the members-only website. I'll still check in with you, right? It's just that you don't have the 3 intense, powerful hours of one-on-one coaching. So there's a way for you to participate in this. I have different packages for you. So if you're at all interested, go to skiplecore.com/transformation. /transform is that other package. But I'll put those links down below. So this is the time. All right. Can you believe it? We're already in the second month of this year. Man, I'll tell you what, couple, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday, right? So, man, I go all day long from early in the morning until I drop figuratively dead with my kids at 8 o'clock at night. I saw Danielle over on my Instagram channel. Said, you get up at 2 o'clock in the morning every single day? That's insane yet inspiring, right? Well, I got living with that sense of urgency. Got so many things I want to do. One thing is that I'll take a nap, right? I don't know, out of 7 days, I don't know, every 2-3 days, I'll take a nap, right? I don't go all day long, all the time that way. But what I realized, I really set some ambitious goals here in January. Maybe see all my podcasts, all my Morning Connection broadcasts, all of my workouts for older men live, not to mention all the videos I cut up and produce and everything like that. Man, I've been going hard. And yesterday I was just so tired. I was uncharacteristically tired. And I just told my wife after the kids I sent them off to school. I said, I got to take a nap. And I mean, I was dead to the world for an hour, like at 9 o'clock in the morning, which isn't me. And I realized I went this whole time from sometimes 12:30 in the morning, certainly 2 o'clock in the morning, all the way for an incredible stretch of time with no nap in between. But I'm just so obsessed with being this service to you, right, and living my life with that sense of urgency that I talk about. I just realized I went without a nap for a very long period of time. All right, let's see who's here today. And then I got a message for you today, and it's something that comes up from time to time about, and I just saw it. I was looking for inspiration today, what I would talk to you about. And gentleman, he did the little LOL. He said, quit doing curls in the squat rack. And so that reminded me of something that might be of value that I want to share with you here today about imaginary rules. How many imaginary rules do you live by? Right, that box you in, that limit what you can and can't do. It limits your options, and you made that up. They're not necessarily true. All right, the game of life, being happy and successful, is tough enough without your imaginary rules. Right, I want to talk about that a little in today's Morning Connection. All right, let's see, who do we have here on this Saturday morning? Good morning, Pete. Good to have you here, sir. David, good morning. And Edwin and Musashi is here. Good evening in Japan. Good to have you here. All right. Paul, Edwin. All right, guys. All right, so imaginary rules. And again, so I was kind of quickly scouring the internet. What am I going to say this morning on this Morning Connection? And a gentleman, if you've been training at all, and I joke about this from time to time, it is about doing barbell curls in the squat rack. And I joke around about that because that is a new internet rule. Right? I've been in the gym for over 30 years, and Not once in real life did I ever hear anybody ever argue, complain, in my circles at least, about anybody doing barbell curls in the squat rack. All right. If anything, I've seen people do CrossFit type things in the squat rack, preventing the person from doing squats. All right. So to me, the consciousness of that ever being a problem, I was never aware of it until, I would say, I don't know, time flies by, maybe 5 years ago, 7 years ago, with the emergence of the internet, and all of a sudden that became a big deal. And I'm thinking, my experience, maybe your experience is so different. Maybe you work out in these hardcore gyms. I don't even see a lot of people squatting, number one, right? Let alone, the guys who I know, the squat, they take their turn. If somebody happens to be doing curls in the squat rack, I mean, that's so rare, right? It's just, to me, it's like this imaginary problem that may come up every once in a while. But it's just that with the internet, everybody's so emboldened, right? And so, I don't know, maybe that happened one day. And so anyway, somebody's just started posting that on it. Don't you hate it? Some hardcore squatter or something like that. But to me, I just thought that was odd, because it became well, I don't know if it's a thing, right? It became a thing, like it happens all the time, right? And I just thought, because I like to think about, like, I go, first of all, I've never heard this, kind of odd. Secondly, I don't necessarily see this as a problem, and I never did. But the other thing is why would you, if someone doesn't tell you, hey, get out of there, which no one's going to tell you that, and it's not being used for squats, and if people do barbell curls in the squat rack, there must be a reason for it, right? I mean, you can say you can make it tougher on yourself. I don't need to do that. I should leave that open for the imaginary person who may be coming in, want to have respect for the squat gods. Hey, bro, we're squatters. I don't know the thought process, right? But it's just this apparatus of bars that you don't have to bend over. You can just curl and just set it right down. Pick it up, go right into position. Why bend over and do all that when that apparatus that's just metal, right, is just there for you? I mean, it takes a lot of thinking to think about someone who's thinking, who might come in, who might be offended, and they may not ever show up. And you want to, this imaginary person who might be imaginarily inconvenienced for an imaginary amount of time, right, who may or may not ever come in. They might be 20 minutes down the road coming, that squatter or whatever, and it's empty. And how long does it take you to do a set or a couple sets of barbell curls anyway? It's like, it's a very complex situation. Be so courteous to an imaginary person who may never even show up. And I just thought about that, and trust me, I mean, my evolution at my age, I've learned a lot of lessons because, when I realized certain things, it's growth. That's what life is. And I'm not immune to. Sometimes we make up these imaginary rules, and forget about the gym. That's just what stimulate a thought is. You can't do this, you can't do this. This person might be offended, or this person might be offended, or that's just not what people do. Sometimes we stack rule after rule after rule after rule on what we're trying to do. We try to step into people's minds. Maybe we read too much of the haters on the internet, and we don't want them to think that way of us. I don't know what the process is, but life, to live it at the highest level, to have that fulfillment and enjoyment, to achieve your goals, it's tough enough without all the imaginary rules that may or may not be there, right? Sometimes, I can't comment anybody's mind, but sometimes sometimes we don't want to offend people. We don't want to be talked about. We don't want people to think that's what is the creation of these imaginary rules. We're being proactive that we don't offend somebody, and they may say something bad about us. And like I said, stacking all these imaginary rules on top of imaginary rules, but if they're really real to us, right, maybe something to think about if you want more and can't seem to be getting closer. Do you have any of those imaginary rules, all right, that I guess always made sense to you, but really, there's a saying, and I understand a lot of especially a lot of people in fitness, they'll even tell you this, that the world is black and white. They have this black and white mentality. And they'll say that I'm either in or out. Either I'm 100% or I'm not in at all. I mean, that's what they know. Somebody's on their team or they're not. You're with me or you're against me. It's not like someone can be neutral. I don't even know who you are. I'm not really paying that much attention. I'm going through my own problems. No, you're either with me, like you're my supporter, you're my friend, you compliment me, you like all my posts, right? Or you're against me, you're a hater, looking for me, wanting me to fail, not clapping when I'm succeeding, right? Again, that's the way they see the world. They'll even describe it that way. They'll live it that way, certainly, and that's the way they think it should be lived, right? So you'll hear that a lot of times, right? That black and white thinking. And I know what that's like. A lot of people in fitness are that way, and they're proudly that way. And the world just does not work in black and white. I was one of those thinkers. Didn't maybe hold on to it because I didn't, sometimes you don't see the other side of where that's helping you, where that is hurting you. Right? But that is the type of thing that when you think it's in absolutes, right, you start judging people, seeing people judge, and that leads to all these rules. And again, to not be offended, like the world is black and white, someone will get offended. There's a saying that could challenge a black and white thinker. And you may have heard it, and it says, it's better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. All right, it's better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. And again, depending on how you process that, right? There's a lot of times we make up imaginary rules where you don't have to ask, because if you ask most people some things, oh, I never thought about it. They'll say no, or they'll, imagine the downside, and it's always best if you ask to say no a lot of times. Right? Or sometimes if you're thinking about it, if you even have to ask, they'll go, oh, I don't know, just go ahead. See, if you're doing a lot of that stuff and you're getting that type of reaction, right? A lot of times, just go ahead and do it. And you'll find that, well, depending what it is, you'll find out that nobody really cared. All that thinking, you just wasted time. You wasted momentum. In the one time out of 10 where someone says, hey, unless it's something huge, the problem. Just say, oh, I'm sorry. Got a problem? Oh, no, you can work it out. Like I said, life's tough enough already without creating imaginary rules that only apply in your own head, and maybe just because it's your fear to offend other people. Let's see if I got any feedback, and gonna get off to the gym. I think I'm gonna be on a Periscope today, Twitter Periscope, and do a workouts for older men live if you happen to be on that. I might do that within a couple hours here. All right. This type of thought, as you become the best you can be on your drive, I want you to check out the link I'm going to post down below about my Morning Connection MANformation course. Special. It's a course, an 11-hour course, 6 sessions about you becoming the man you really want to be. Perspective like this, structured in 6 sessions. All right, give you more clarity, more confidence, more certainty. Check your beliefs. I talk about that a lot, right? Because sometimes we can't figure out, why we can't move forward at the pace as men as we want. And a lot of times it's these rules, these imaginary rules, these beliefs that aren't necessarily true, but they're true for you. And without evaluating them, they're holding us back. I'm going to have you reevaluate your rules, get clear on what you want, take you through a goal-setting process. You'll see the 8-page dream life that I created years ago, right? And I take you through the process, sight, sound, feelings, emotions that I went through to do this. It's 8 pages. Actually, when I met my wife, I said, look, this is what I have planned. This is what I have planned in my life. What do you think about this, right? So, this vision, it really kind of cut the learning process. She knew, but more than just here's what I decided I want for my life on a piece of paper. I mean, she could see me get up every single morning working towards that, right? So you can say, hey, that's what I want, or no, that's not what I want, right? But that's all there, my personal dream life, and you'll see how much of that has evolved over the years, right? So the Morning Connection MANformation course, this morning connection special because you're the type of man who wants to become your best, both inside and outside gym, the total package, right? Help you with that area of your life too. Give you some things to consider. All right, so that's going to do it for this morning connection. Hey, let's take on this day. Enjoy this weekend. Love, hug, connect with that sense of urgency. There's that saying that the hustle doesn't take the weekends off. Chip, chip, chip away towards your goal. Live with that sense of urgency, especially if you're a little bit older. We've got more time behind us than we do in front of us. Expect the best from yourself today. Expect the best. Expect the best from what you do that you're going to really produce. And expect the best in others. Sometimes that's a challenge for us to expect that when you come through, like you know you are, when you create that value, when you have these brilliant ideas, expect that other people, expect that they'll get you. They'll get it. It may take a little bit of time, right? But expect the best from others. Expect the best from yourself. Expect the best from your efforts. Expect the best from other people today. So have a great day.